Kayla Emerson was 34 years old when two six-year-old strangers walked into that cafe and changed her life forever. She thought she'd been stood up. She was wrong. What walked through that door wasn't her date. It was something far more terrifying and beautiful. Two little girls in matching red jackets holding hands looking for the woman their widowed father was supposed to meet. And what they said next. It would either save their broken family or destroy the last piece of hope Kayla had left. Before we begin, please subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story. And comment below with what city you're watching from. I want to see how far this story travels. Now, let's begin. Daddy cried in the shower again last night. That's what Daisy Caldwell told her twin sister Hazel at 6:30 that Tuesday morning, and that's when everything started. Hazel was brushing her teeth or trying to. She had toothpaste on her nose. She looked at Daisy in the bathroom mirror and her hand stopped moving. "How do you know?" Hazel whispered. "Because I heard him." Daisy was the older twin by 4 minutes, and she never let Hazel forget it. "The water was running, but I heard him anyway." Hazel spit into the sink. Her eyes were already wet. "Did you tell him we heard?" "No. That makes it worse." They were 6 years old. 6-year-olds shouldn't know these things. But Daisy and Hazel Caldwell knew a lot of things 6-year-olds shouldn't know. They knew what a funeral was. They knew what cancer meant. They knew their mommy wasn't coming back no matter how many times they wished on stars or prayed like Grandma taught them. And they knew their daddy was drowning. Matthew Caldwell was 36. He was an architect. He designed libraries and community centers and buildings that made people feel safe. But he couldn't design his way out of grief. 2 years ago, his wife Emma died 3 months after her diagnosis: pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. She was 33. He'd been alone with the girls ever since. Well, not alone. His mother helped. His sister came by on weekends. But at night, when Daisy and Hazel were asleep, Matthew stood in the shower and let the water hide his tears, because he didn't want his daughters to know that their daddy was broken too. Except, they already knew. "We need to fix Daddy," Daisy said that morning. She was wearing the red jacket her mother bought her before she got sick. Hazel had the matching one. They wore them almost every day like armor. Hazel tied her shoes. They were light-up sneakers, pink and purple. How? He needs a friend. He has friends. A different kind of friend. Daisy's voice got quieter. Like Mommy was. Hazel's face went serious. "You mean a girlfriend?" "Maybe. I don't know. Someone who makes him smile again. Real smiles." Their father didn't smile much anymore. He used to, before. He used to make pancakes shaped like butterflies and sing Disney songs in the car and dance with their mother in the kitchen while the radio played. Hazel remembered that. The dancing, her mother's laugh, the way her daddy would spin Mommy around and Mommy would say, "Matthew Caldwell, you're going to make me dizzy," but she was laughing the whole time. That was before. Now he made regular pancakes. He drove in silence. He moved through the house like a ghost. "Grandma said he has a date tonight," Hazel whispered. Daisy's eyes went wide. "Really?" "I heard her on the phone with Aunt Nicole yesterday. She said someone from her book club set him up. Some lady. A doctor for animals. A veterinarian." "Yeah, that." Daisy thought about this. Her brain was always working, always planning. What if Daddy doesn't go? Why wouldn't he go? Because he's scared. And Daisy was right. Downstairs, Matthew Caldwell stood at the kitchen counter, staring at the text message his mother sent him the night before. "Kayla Emerson, 7 o'clock, the Greenhouse Cafe downtown. She's lovely, Matthew. Just go. Emma would want you to be happy." His chest tightened every time he read that last sentence. Emma would want you to be happy. Would she? His mother meant well. Everyone meant well. But Matthew didn't feel ready. He didn't know if he'd ever feel ready. Dating felt like betrayal. Like he was erasing Emma. Like he was telling his daughters their mother was replaceable. She wasn't. Nobody was. But his mother was relentless. And his sister Nicole. And his co-worker Tom, who kept saying, "Man, you're 36, not 96. You're allowed to have coffee with someone." So Matthew said yes. And now it was Tuesday, the day of the date, and every cell in his body wanted to cancel. He picked up his phone, started typing. "Hi, this is Matthew. I'm sorry, but I need to. Daddy." Daisy and Hazel ran into the kitchen backpacks, bouncing light-up shoes, flashing. "Ready for school," Hazel announced. Matthew deleted the text, put the phone down, smiled the fake smile he'd gotten too good at. "You two look beautiful." "Daddy, you're wearing the sad shirt," Daisy said. Matthew looked down. Gray t-shirt, jeans. "This is a sad shirt. It's the one you wear when you're sad." Kids, they saw everything. "I'm not sad, sweetheart. Just tired." "You're always tired," Hazel said. Not accusing, just factual, just true. Matthew knelt down eye level with them, put a hand on each small shoulder. "I know, I'm sorry, but I promise I'm trying." Daisy touched his face. Her hand was so small, it broke his heart. "Daddy, do you have your date tonight?" His stomach dropped. "How did you know about that?" "Grandma told Aunt Nicole and Hazel has big ears." "I have excellent ears," Hazel corrected. Matthew sighed. "Yes, I have a date. But it's not a big deal. It's just coffee." "With the animal doctor?" Daisy asked. "Yes." "Is she nice?" "I don't know yet, honey. That's why we're meeting." The twins looked at each other. They did that sometimes. Had whole conversations without words. It used to be cute. Now it made Matthew nervous. "Okay, Daddy," Daisy said sweetly. Too sweetly. "We hope she's really, really nice." "Me too," Matthew said, even though part of him hoped she'd be boring or rude or something that would give him an excuse never to do this again. He dropped the girls at school, kissed their foreheads, watched them run toward the building, red jackets bright against the gray October morning. Then he sat in his car for 5 full minutes trying to remember how to breathe. At work, Matthew tried to focus on blueprints for the new city library. The building was going to be beautiful. 3 stories, glass and steel. A children's section with a reading nook shaped like a treehouse. He'd designed the treehouse himself, thinking of Daisy and Hazel, thinking of Emma. She'd loved libraries. She was a teacher, 3rd grade. She used to say, "Books are how kids learn, they're not alone in the world." Matthew's hand shook as he held his coffee cup. His phone buzzed. His mother. "You're still going tonight, right?" he texted back. "Yes, Mom." "Wear the blue shirt." "I'm wearing the blue shirt." "And smile. You have a nice smile when you use it." Matthew put the phone down. Looked at the framed photo on his desk. His wedding day. Emma in white. Him in a gray suit. Both of them laughing at something the photographer said. Emma's head thrown back, her hand on his chest. God, she was beautiful. "I'm sorry," Matthew whispered to the photo. "I don't know what I'm doing." The photo didn't answer. It never did. His phone buzzed again. Tom, his coworker. "Don't cancel." Then his sister Nicole. "You're going. No excuses." Then his mother again. "And don't talk about Emma on the first date. I know you. Don't." Matthew rubbed his face. Everyone had opinions. Everyone had advice. Nobody understood that some losses don't heal. They just become part of you, like scar tissue. At 6:15, Matthew stood in his bedroom staring at himself in the mirror. Blue button-down shirt, dark jeans. He'd shaved. He looked decent. Tired, but decent. "You can do this," he told his reflection. "It's just coffee. 1 hour. You can survive 1 hour." His reflection didn't look convinced. Behind him on the dresser was another photo. Emma holding the twins in the hospital, minutes after they were born. She looked exhausted and radiant, and so happy. Matthew picked up the photo, ran his thumb over her face. I miss you, he said. Every single day. At 6:30, his phone rang. Jerry, the site manager for the library project. Matthew, we have a problem. Big problem. The contractor hit a gas line. Fire department's here. We need you on site now. Matthew's stomach sank. How bad? Bad enough that the city inspector won't leave until the architect signs off. I'm sorry, man. I know you had plans. Part of Matthew felt relieved. Part of him hated himself for feeling relieved. I'll be there in 20 minutes. He texted his mother. Emergency at the site. Have to cancel. She called immediately. Matthew David Caldwell, you are not canceling. Mom, there's a gas leak. I don't have a choice. Then text her, explain, reschedule. But you do not just not show up. That's cruel, and your father raised you better than that. She was right. His father had been a good man, died 5 years ago. Heart attack, sudden. Matthew wondered sometimes if his dad would know what to say now. How to date again. How to let someone new in without feeling like you're betraying someone old. Matthew texted the number his mother gave him. Hi, this is Matthew. I'm so sorry, but there's an emergency at my worksite. Gas leak. I can't make it tonight. I'm really sorry. Can we reschedule? He waited. No response. He grabbed his keys, kissed the girls goodbye. His mother was staying with them, making spaghetti. The kitchen smelled like garlic and tomatoes. Be careful, honey, his mother said. Always. He drove to the construction site, radio off, windows down, October air cold on his face. He had no idea what was happening 7 miles away. Meanwhile, at the Caldwell house, Daisy and Hazel were executing their plan. Grandma, Daisy called from the living room. Can we play in the backyard before dinner? Their grandmother Margaret stirred the pasta sauce. Stay where I can see you. We will. They wouldn't. The girls went out the back door, walked calmly to the fence, then ran. 4 houses down lived Mrs. Chen. She was 72 and drove a Buick and loved the twins because they reminded her of her own grandchildren in California. Daisy knocked on her door. Mrs. Chen opened it, surprised. Girls, what are you doing here? Mrs. Chen, we need a really big favor, Hazel said. Does your grandmother know you're here? Not exactly, Daisy admitted. But this is an emergency. What kind of emergency? The daddy kind. Mrs. Chen looked at these 2 little girls in their red jackets, holding hands, eyes pleading. She'd been widowed for 8 years. She knew what loneliness looked like. Get in the car, she said. 15 minutes later, they were downtown. You're sure about this? Mrs. Chen asked. Very sure, Daisy said. Your grandmother is going to kill me. We'll tell her it was our idea. It was your idea, and that's not comforting. Mrs. Chen parked near the greenhouse cafe. I'm waiting right here. You have 10 minutes. Then we're going home and facing the music. The twins nodded, got out, held hands. This is crazy, Hazel whispered. This is love, Daisy whispered back. Inside the cafe, Kayla Emerson sat at a corner table watching the door. She was 34. She'd been a veterinarian for 12 years. She'd held dying animals. She'd put down beloved pets. She'd comforted owners who cried like their hearts were breaking because their hearts were breaking. She knew loss. Her own father had died when she was 22. Sudden heart attack. One day he was coaching her through a bad breakup. The next day he was gone. Just gone. And Kayla learned that life doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just happens. 7 o'clock came. Then 7:15. Then 7:30. Her tea went cold. She checked her phone. There was a text sent at 6:45 from a number she didn't recognize. She'd been driving, hadn't seen it. She read it now. Hi, this is Matthew. I'm so sorry, but there's an emergency at my work site. Gas leak. I can't make it tonight. I'm really sorry. Can we reschedule? Kayla stared at the message. Gas leak. Emergency. Genuine. But also 7:30. Alone. Cold tea. She'd been here before. Not literally, but emotionally. Waiting for men who didn't show. Making excuses for them. Convincing herself next time would be different. Enough, she said quietly. The waitress approached. Kind eyes, gray hair. Honey, can I get you anything else? Kayla smiled. The professional smile. The one that hid disappointment. No, thank you. I think I've been stood up. Men are fools, the waitress said. Sometimes, Kayla agreed. But I'm done waiting for this one. She left cash on the table, more than the bill, wrapped her scarf around her neck. October nights in the city were cold and getting colder. She pushed open the cafe door. The bell above it rang. She didn't see the two small figures across the street getting out of Mrs. Chen's Buick. That's her, Daisy whispered. How do you know? Hazel whispered back. Grandma showed me her picture on Facebook. Come on. They ran across the street. Mrs. Chen yelled, Wait for the light! But they were already moving. Kayla was walking toward her car keys in hand when she heard it. Miss Kayla. She turned. Two tiny girls in red jackets were running toward her hand-in-hand breath, making clouds in the cold air. Wait! Hazel yelled. Please wait! Kayla stopped, confused. Are you talking to me? They reached her out of breath. Are you Miss Kayla? Daisy asked. I am, but how do you know my name? Our daddy was supposed to meet you, Hazel said, gasping for air. Kayla's heart skipped. Not a small skip. A full stop and restart. Your daddy. Matthew Caldwell, Daisy said. He's our daddy, and he's really sorry he's late. The world tilted slightly. Kayla crouched down eye level with them. Wait, you're Matthew's daughters? They nodded in unison. How did you get here? Where's your dad? At work. The gas leak thing. Daisy was still catching her breath. And Mrs. Chen drove us. She's waiting in the car over there. She pointed. Kayla looked. Sure enough, an elderly woman in a Buick was waving nervously. Does your father know you're here? Kayla asked. No, Hazel said. Does your grandmother? Also no, Daisy admitted. Oh my God. Kayla's veterinarian brain kicked in. The part that stayed calm during emergencies. The part that made decisions fast. Okay, we need to call them right now. No. Daisy grabbed Kayla's hand. Her small fingers were freezing. Please, just let us talk to you first. 5 minutes. Please. Kayla looked at these two little girls. Identical faces. Identical red jackets. Different eyes, though. Daisy's were determined. Hazel's were scared. Both were desperate. 5 minutes, Kayla said. Then I'm calling everyone. Deal. They went back inside the cafe. The waitress raised her eyebrows, but didn't ask questions. Small towns. People minded their business. Kayla ordered 2 hot chocolates with extra whipped cream. They sat at the same corner table, the one where Kayla had just given up hope. Okay, Kayla said gently. Talk to me. Daisy spoke first. She always did. Our daddy didn't stand you up on purpose. He had a real emergency. At work. A gas thing. I know, I saw his text. But he wanted to come, Hazel added quickly. He was so nervous. He practiced in the mirror what to say. Despite everything, despite the insanity of this situation, Kayla smiled. He practiced in the mirror. He said, Hi, I'm Matthew, like 100 times, Daisy said. With different voices. It was weird. He wore the blue shirt, Hazel said. That's his special shirt. The one he wore to Mommy's funeral. The air changed. Daddy says the blue shirt is for important days, Daisy said quietly. Good ones and bad ones. Kayla's throat tightened. Why are you telling me this? The twins looked at each other. Had one of those silent conversations. Then Daisy said, "Because our daddy is sad all the time, and we want him to be happy again." "Our mommy died," Hazel said, voice barely above a whisper. 2 years ago. Cancer. And there it was, the truth of it. Kayla's eyes burned. "I'm so sorry." "Daddy tries to be happy for us," Daisy continued. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking around the hot chocolate cup. "He makes pancakes and braids our hair, even though he's not good at it yet. He reads us stories and helps with homework and takes us to the park. But at night, when he thinks we're asleep, he cries in the shower. He looks at Mommy's picture," Hazel added. Tears were rolling down her cheeks now. "And he says, 'I'm sorry, Emma. I'm so sorry.'" Over and over. Kayla's hand went to her mouth. "We don't want him to forget Mommy," Daisy said quickly, fiercely. "We don't. We love Mommy. We talk about her every day. But we want Daddy to smile again. Real smiles, not the fake ones he does for us." "And Grandma said you're nice," Hazel said, wiping her nose with her sleeve. "She showed us your picture. She said you help animals, that you save them when they're hurt." "We thought maybe you could help Daddy too," Daisy said. "Because he's hurt, on the inside, where we can't see." Kayla couldn't stop the tears now. They just came. "We have a dog named Biscuit," Hazel said. "He's old, 11, and he limps now. But you know what Daddy says." "What?" Kayla managed. "He says old and broken things deserve love too. Maybe even more." Kayla pressed her palms to her eyes. Breathed. These two 6-year-old girls were wrecking her. Absolutely wrecking her. "And we had a fish named Bob," Daisy added. "But Bob died last week. Daddy flushed him down the toilet, but first we had a funeral." "A funeral?" Kayla half laughed, half sobbed. "Daddy said even fish deserve goodbye," Hazel explained seriously. "He said every life matters, even little ones." Of course he did. Of course this man who lost his wife, who raised twin girls alone, who cried in the shower, would give a dead fish a funeral. Kayla looked at Daisy and Hazel. Really looked at them. 6 years old. Brave beyond measure. Trying to save their father the only way they knew how. "Where is your dad right now?" Kayla asked. "At the library," Hazel said. "The one he's building downtown. 4th and Main." Kayla knew that site. Everyone did. It was going to be gorgeous. She checked her watch. 8:05. The smart thing, the responsible thing, would be to call Matthew. Tell him his daughters were safe. Return them home. Let this strange, beautiful disaster end. But Kayla had learned something when her father died. Life is short. Grief is long. And sometimes brave people do crazy things. "What's your daddy's favorite food?" Kayla asked. Both girls brightened immediately. "Chinese food," Daisy said. "Orange chicken and fried rice." "And crab rangoons," Hazel added. "He eats so many crab rangoons." Kayla pulled out her phone. Googled Chinese restaurants near 4th and Main. Found one. Golden Dragon. 2 blocks from the construction site. She stood up. "Come on." "Where are we going?" Daisy asked. "To bring your daddy dinner." Their faces lit up like someone had plugged them in. "Really?" Hazel breathed. "Really? But first, I'm calling your grandmother so she doesn't have a heart attack." Kayla walked to the Buick. Mrs. Chen rolled down the window. "Thank you for bringing them," Kayla said. "I'm Kayla. The date." Mrs. Chen's eyes widened. Oh my. "I'm taking them to see their father. Can I borrow your phone? I need to call their grandmother." Mrs. Chen handed it over. "Good luck. Margaret Caldwell is a force of nature." Kayla dialed. A woman answered on the first ring. "Daisy Hazel, where are you?" "Mrs. Caldwell, my name is Kayla Emerson. Your granddaughters are safe. They're with me." Silence. Heavy, shocked silence. Then, "Oh my God. Oh my God. Are they okay? I'm calling the police right now. I'm calling Matthew. "Wait," Kayla said firmly. "Please, they're fine. They're wonderful, actually. They did something very dangerous and very stupid and very, very brave. I'm going to kill them. Mrs. Caldwell. Kayla's voice was gentle now. Give me 1 hour. I'm taking them to Matthew, to the construction site. I'll explain everything when we get there. I promise you they're safe. Another silence. Then quieter. You're the date. I'm the date. Those sneaky little... Mrs. Caldwell's voice broke. Are they really okay? They really are. And I think they might be the smartest 6-year-olds I've ever met. A long pause. Then, 1 hour, Kayla Emerson. 1 hour, then I'm calling the National Guard. Deal. Kayla hung up, looked at Daisy and Hazel. Your grandmother is going to ground you until you're 30. We know, Daisy said. It's worth it. They climbed into Kayla's car, a blue Honda Civic with a bumper sticker that said, I'd rather be rescuing animals. The twins buckled themselves into the back seat like they'd done this 1,000 times. Do you rescue animals? Hazel asked as Kayla started the engine. Sometimes. I work at an emergency vet clinic, so when animals are really sick or hurt, people bring them to me. Do you fix them? Daisy asked. I try my best. Do they always get better? Kayla met her eyes in the rearview mirror. No, sweetheart, not always. Sometimes we can't fix things no matter how hard we try. Sometimes all we can do is make sure they know they're loved at the end. Like Mommy, Hazel said quietly. Yeah, Kayla said, voice thick. Like Mommy. They drove to Golden Dragon. Kayla ordered orange chicken fried rice and 2 orders of crab rangoons because the twins insisted their father could eat that many. Daddy likes fortune cookies too, Daisy said. Even though the fortunes are always weird. Last time his said, your shoes will make you happy today. What does that even mean? Kayla laughed. Actually laughed. I have no idea. They added egg rolls and fortune cookies. The total was $43. Kayla paid cash. Back in the car, the smell of Chinese food filled the space. Hazel's stomach growled loud enough to hear. Did you two eat dinner? Kayla asked. They shook their heads. Grandma was making spaghetti, but we left before it was ready, Daisy admitted. Kayla sighed, pulled over into a parking lot, opened the egg rolls. Eat. You can't save your dad on an empty stomach. They ate in the car, greasy fingers, happy faces. And Kayla thought, I'm helping 2 6-year-olds who ran away from home ambush their father. This is insane. But she kept driving. The construction site was lit up with floodlights, orange cones everywhere, yellow caution tape, a white trailer near the entrance with site office printed on the side. Kayla parked. Is that where your dad would be? Probably, Daisy said. He's always in there looking at his drawings. They got out. The twins grabbed Kayla's hands. 3 females walking toward a construction site at 8:30 at night carrying Chinese takeout. A man in a hard hat stopped them. Ma'am, you can't be here. This is an active Daisy Hazel. His eyes went huge. Does your dad know you're here? Not yet, Mr. Jerry, Daisy said cheerfully. Oh boy. Jerry rubbed his face. Matt's gonna lose his mind. Is he in the trailer? Kayla asked. Yeah, but who are you? I'm the date. Jerry blinked. The date he canceled on. That's the one? Oh. Jerry started to smile. Oh, this is going to be good. Come on. He led them to the trailer, knocked on the metal door. Matt, you got visitors. I'm busy, Jerry, Matthew's voice called from inside. He sounded exhausted. Trust me, boss. You want to see this. Unless it's the fire marshal with good news, I really don't. Jerry opened the door. Matthew Caldwell stood there, blueprints in one hand, phone in the other, hair a complete mess, blue shirt untucked and wrinkled, dust on his jeans, dark circles under his eyes. He saw his daughters. The color drained from his face. Hi, Daddy, Daisy said. We brought you dinner. Hazel added, holding up the Chinese food bag. Matthew's mouth opened. No sound came out. Then his eyes moved past the girls and landed on Kayla. Their eyes met. And something happened. Something neither of them expected. Recognition, not of faces, of something deeper. Two people who knew loss, who knew what it meant to keep going when everything hurt, who understood that brave and broken aren't opposites. "Hi," Kayla said softly. "I'm Kayla, and I think we need to talk." Matthew's phone slipped from his hand and clattered to the floor. Matthew's phone lay on the trailer floor. Nobody moved to pick it up. "Daddy, you dropped your phone," Hazel said. Matthew didn't answer. He was staring at Kayla like she was a hallucination. Like maybe if he blinked hard enough, this whole situation would disappear. It didn't. "Matthew," Kayla said gently. He blinked, looked at his daughters, back at Kayla, back at his daughters. "What? How?" His voice came out strangled. "What are you doing here?" "Well," Daisy said brightly, "we came to save your date." "Save my—" Matthew's brain was short-circuiting. "You were supposed to be at home with Grandma, eating spaghetti." "We were," Hazel said. "But then we left." "You left," Matthew's voice cracked. "You're 6 years old. You don't just leave." Behind them, Jerry cleared his throat. "I'm going to give you guys some privacy." He backed out of the trailer, closing the door softly. Matthew ran both hands through his hair. Took a breath. Another. He looked at Kayla. "I am so sorry. I don't know what I'm so sorry." "Don't apologize," Kayla said. "Your daughters are incredible." "My daughters are in so much trouble," Matthew said, but his hands were shaking. "How did you even get downtown?" "Mrs. Chen drove us," Daisy said. "Mrs. Chen, our neighbor. Mrs. Chen, 72-year-old. Mrs. Chen. She was very nice about it," Hazel offered. Matthew closed his eyes, pressed his fingers to his temples. "I'm having a stroke. This is a stroke." "You're not having a stroke," Kayla said. She set the Chinese food bag on the desk. "But you might want to sit down." "I can't sit down. I need to—" He looked at the girls. "Does Grandma know where you are?" "She does now," Kayla said. "I called her. She's giving us 1 hour before she calls the National Guard. 1 hour. 1 hour." Matthew's voice went up an octave. "She should have called the police immediately. Do you know how dangerous?" He stopped, looked at Kayla again, really looked at her. "Wait, you called my mother." "I did." "And she said, okay." She wasn't thrilled, but yes. Matthew sat down. Or more accurately, he fell into the chair behind the desk. "This is insane. This is completely insane." "It's kind of romantic," Hazel said. "It's kind of illegal," Matthew countered. "You two can't just—" He stopped again, looked at Kayla. "I'm sorry, I texted you. I had a gas leak. I was going to reschedule." "I know. I got your text." "Then why are you here?" Kayla glanced at Daisy and Hazel, then back at Matthew. "Because your daughters convinced me to come." "How?" "They told me the truth." Something in Matthew's face changed. Fear flashed across it. "What truth?" "About your wife," Kayla said quietly. "About how hard this has been. About how you cry in the shower." Matthew's face went red, then white. "They told you that—" Daisy stepped forward. "Daddy, we're sorry, but you're sad all the time, and we wanted to help. We wanted to make you smile." Hazel added her voice small now. "Real smiles." Matthew put his face in his hands. His shoulders started shaking. For a moment, Kayla thought he was crying. Then she heard it. Laughter. Matthew was laughing. The kind of laughter that comes when you don't know whether to cry or scream or give up entirely. He looked up. His eyes were wet, but he was smiling. "You two are unbelievable. Do you know that absolutely unbelievable?" Are you mad? Hazel asked nervously. I'm terrified, Matthew said, and furious, and completely amazed. He opened his arms. Come here. The girls ran to him. He pulled them into a hug, holding tight. Don't ever do this again, he said into their hair. Ever. Do you understand? Yes, Daddy, they said in unison. You could have been hurt. Something could have happened. I would have. His voice broke. I can't lose you too. You won't, Daisy said fiercely. We're careful. You took a bus across town. A very safe bus, Hazel said. Matthew laughed again, shook his head, released them, looked at Kayla. I don't know what to say. You could start with your actual name, Kayla said, not the practiced one. His eyebrows went up. They told you about that too. They told me everything. Matthew groaned. Of course they did. He stood up, wiped his eyes, extended his hand. I'm Matthew Caldwell, and I'm a complete disaster. Kayla shook his hand. His grip was warm, solid. I'm Kayla Emerson, and I've seen worse disasters. I'm a vet. Right. Animals. He was still holding her hand. Realized it. Let go quickly. Sorry, I'm not usually this. He gestured vaguely at himself. I don't know what I am right now. Hungry, Hazel suggested, pointing at the Chinese food. Matthew looked at the bag. You brought food? We brought your favorite, Daisy said proudly. Orange chicken and fried rice and lots of crab rangoons. You brought me Chinese food. Matthew said it slowly, like he was testing whether the words made sense. To a construction site, after my daughters ran away from home to find the woman I accidentally stood up. That's the summary, yes? Kayla said. Matthew laughed, actually laughed. This is the weirdest night of my life. Daddy, your life is already pretty weird, Hazel said. Fair point. So are we eating or not? Daisy asked. Because Hazel and I already had egg rolls in the car and they were really good. You ate in the car. Matthew looked at Kayla. You fed my fugitive children. They were hungry. What was I supposed to do? Matthew shook his head, but he was smiling now. A real smile. Tired and confused and overwhelmed, but real. Okay, he said. Okay. We're doing this. We're eating Chinese food at a construction site at 8:30 on a Tuesday night with my daughters who just committed multiple crimes. We didn't commit crimes, Daisy protested. We just borrowed Mrs. Chen. That's called kidnapping. She volunteered. Kayla started unpacking the food. Matthew found paper towels. They didn't have plates, so they ate straight from the containers. Matthew sat on the desk chair. Kayla sat on a folding chair. The girls sat cross-legged on the floor, using a blueprint as a placemat. For a few minutes, nobody talked. They just ate. Then Hazel said, Miss Kayla, do you have a boyfriend? Matthew choked on his crab rangoon. Hazel, he managed. What I'm just asking. Kayla smiled. No, I don't have a boyfriend. Why not? Daisy asked. You're pretty, and you help animals. Daisy, Matthew warned. Those are actually both true things, Kayla said. But no, I haven't found the right person yet. What about Daddy? Hazel asked. Matthew put down his container. Girls, stop. We're just saying you're both single, and you both seem nice. And Daddy's a good cook, Hazel added. And Miss Kayla probably likes pancakes, Daisy finished. Oh my God, Matthew said. I'm so sorry. They're normally not this honest, Kayla supplied. Invasive. We're trying to help, Daisy said. You're trying to give me a heart attack, Matthew countered. But his voice was gentle. Kayla watched this man with his daughters, the way he spoke to them, patient even when he was overwhelmed, loving even when he was exhausted. She watched him break open a fortune cookie and read it to them in a silly voice, watched him wipe sauce off Hazel's cheek with his thumb, watched him meet Daisy's eyes and have one of those silent conversations parents have with their kids. And she thought, oh no, because she was starting to like him. So, Matthew said, turning to Kayla, I should probably know something about you beyond the fact that you're a saint for putting up with this. I'm not a saint. You got in a car with two strange children and brought them to a construction site. You're at least partially saintly. Kayla smiled. I work at Valley Emergency Vet. I've been a veterinarian for 12 years. I like my job way too much. I don't date a lot because I work nights and weekends. And apparently I'm terrible at knowing when to walk away from situations. Thank God for that, Matthew said quietly. Their eyes met. The air in the trailer changed. What about you? Kayla asked. Beyond the fact that you're an architect and you make pancakes and you practice conversations in mirrors. Matthew laughed, shook his head. I design libraries mostly, community centers, places that are supposed to make people feel safe. I'm not sure I'm succeeding, but I try. I have these two. He gestured at the girls. Who are the best and worst things that have ever happened to me, often in the same 5-minute span? And He paused. I'm not very good at this anymore. The dating thing. The talking to new people thing. You're doing fine, Kayla said. I dropped my phone when I saw you. That was charming. I'm covered in construction dust. I spend my days elbow deep in animals. Trust me, dust is nothing. Matthew smiled. My daughters told you about Emma. It wasn't a question. They did, Kayla said carefully. And you came anyway. I came anyway. Why? Kayla looked at Daisy and Hazel, who were watching this exchange like it was the most important tennis match in history. Because I lost my dad when I was 22, she said. Sudden heart attack. And for years after I wished someone had told my mom it was okay to live again. That loving someone new doesn't mean forgetting someone old. She looked back at Matthew. Your daughters are 6 years old, and they already know that. They're smarter than most adults I know. Matthew's throat worked. He didn't say anything for a long moment. Then, she had pancreatic cancer, stage 4, 3 months from diagnosis to... He stopped. 2 years ago last month. I'm so sorry. Everyone's sorry. Everyone's always sorry. He wasn't angry, just tired. And I know they mean it. But sorry doesn't... He exhaled. Sorry doesn't bring her back. Sorry doesn't make bedtime easier, or explain why mommy's gone, or teach me how to braid hair properly. You braid our hair good, Daddy, Hazel said softly. I watch YouTube videos, baby. That's not the same thing. It counts, Daisy said. Matthew looked at his daughters. You two are supposed to be eating, not eavesdropping. We're doing both, Hazel said. We're talented. Despite everything, Kayla laughed. Matthew looked at her. They're not wrong. They are talented, mostly at chaos. Productive chaos, Daisy corrected. Is that what we're calling this? We got you on a date, didn't we? This is not a date. This is a hostage situation. A romantic hostage situation, Hazel said. Oh my God. Matthew put his face in his hands again. Kayla was definitely laughing now. They're really good at this. They practice? Matthew said from behind his hands. We do, Daisy confirmed. We have a whole plan. Matthew looked up. What plan? The girls looked at each other. No, Matthew said. No. There's no plan. Plans are canceled. You two are grounded until college. Can we be grounded after dessert? Hazel asked. We got fortune cookies. Fine. Fortune cookies. Then home. Then grounding. They opened the fortune cookies. Daisy's said, adventure awaits. Hazel's said, good things come to those who wait. Matthews said, you will make someone very happy. He stared at it for a long moment. What's it say, Daddy? Hazel asked. Nothing important, he said quietly, tucking it into his pocket. But Kayla saw his hand shake when he did it. Her own fortune said, love is closer than you think. She didn't read it aloud. Matthew's phone buzzed from the floor. He picked it up, read the screen. My mother. She wants to know if everyone's still alive. Are we? Daisy asked. Barely. He typed back, set the phone on the desk, looked at Kayla. I should get them home, before my mother actually does call the National Guard. Probably wise. Neither of them moved. Thank you, Matthew said, for bringing them here, for not calling the police on my criminal children, for... He gestured vaguely. All of this. You're welcome. I really did want to meet you tonight, before the gas leak, before everything. I know. Can I... He stopped, started again. Can I actually take you to dinner sometime? Like a real dinner, where my children don't orchestrate everything. We'd still help, Daisy said. You would not help. You would stay home with Grandma. That's boring. That's safe. Kayla smiled. I'd like that. Dinner, with or without criminal masterminds. Saturday, Matthew asked. If you're free. I work Saturday night, but Saturday morning I'm free. Saturday morning is pancake morning, Hazel said. Daddy makes them shaped like butterflies. Sometimes butterflies, Matthew corrected. Sometimes they're just blobs. Can Miss Kayla come for pancakes? Daisy asked. Matthew opened his mouth, closed it, looked at Kayla helplessly. Only if you want to, he said. No pressure. I know meeting the kids right away is weird. I've already met the kids, Kayla pointed out. They kidnapped me first. We didn't kidnap you, Hazel said. We persuaded you. Aggressively, Kayla said. Effectively, Daisy countered. Matthew rubbed his face. I can't believe this is my life. Is that a yes to pancakes? Hazel pressed. Matthew looked at Kayla. It's up to her. Everyone looked at Kayla. She thought about her apartment. Empty, quiet, safe. She thought about her father, who died too young, who never got to see her at 34, still single, still careful, still afraid of wanting too much. She thought about these two brave little girls who got on a bus to save their dad's heart. I like pancakes, she said. The girls exploded into cheers. Matthew smiled, that real smile again. Okay then, Saturday, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. Fair warning, the house is a mess and the pancakes might be terrible. I work with animals, Kayla said. I've seen worse than messy houses. And Daddy's pancakes aren't terrible, Hazel said loyally. They're just creative. They cleaned up the Chinese food containers. Matthew walked them to Kayla's car. The October air was cold now. Matthew didn't have a jacket. Kayla could see him shivering in his blue shirt. Here, she said, opening the car door so the girls could climb in. Get them buckled. I'll be right there. She turned to Matthew. They stood under the floodlights, surrounded by construction equipment and caution tape. I'm sorry again, he said. About tonight. About all of this. Stop apologizing. It's kind of my default setting now. Maybe it's time for a new setting. He smiled. Tired but real. Maybe. Your daughters love you a lot, Kayla said. They're willing to commit federal offenses for you. I'm aware. It's terrifying. It's beautiful. Matthew's eyes got wet. He blinked fast. I haven't done this in a long time. Talk to someone. Someone who isn't my mom or my sister or a 6-year-old. You're doing fine. I really wanted to make a good first impression. You did. I dropped my phone. Still counts. He laughed, shook his head. Saturday, 10 o'clock. I'll try to have it together by then. Don't, Kayla said. I like you like this. Disaster mode. Human mode. Something passed between them. Something neither expected. Something that felt like the beginning of something neither was quite ready to name. Drive safe, Matthew said. You too. I'm not driving. I live 3 blocks away. Then walk safe. He smiled. I'll try. Kayla got in the car. Daisy and Hazel were buckled in the back, grinning like they'd just won the lottery. "Did he ask you out?" Daisy whispered. "We're having pancakes on Saturday." "That counts," Hazel said. Kayla started the engine, looked in the rear-view mirror. Matthew was still standing there, hands in his pockets, watching them leave. She waved. He waved back. And Kayla drove 3 little girls home through the dark October streets, thinking about pancakes and fortune cookies and men who gave dead fish funerals. When they pulled up to the Caldwell house, every light was on. The front door opened before Kayla even turned off the car. Margaret Caldwell stood on the porch. Gray hair. Fierce eyes. The kind of woman who'd raised her children right and wasn't about to let her grandchildren die on her watch. "Oh boy," Hazel whispered. "We're dead," Daisy said. "You're not dead," Kayla said. "But you might wish you were." They got out of the car, walked up the driveway. Margaret's arms were crossed. "Grandma?" Daisy started. "Not one word," Margaret said. Then she looked at Kayla. "You must be Kayla." "I am. I'm so sorry about all this." "Don't you dare apologize," Margaret said. "My son is the one who should apologize, canceling on you, working too much, forgetting how to live." She looked at the girls. "But these two," she shook her head. "Get inside, both of you, now." Daisy and Hazel trudged inside, heads down. Margaret turned back to Kayla. "Thank you for bringing them home safely." "Of course. And thank you for not running when you saw what you were getting into." Kayla smiled. "I work in emergency medicine. I don't run easy." Margaret studied her for a long moment. Then she smiled. Actually smiled. "Saturday, 10 o'clock. Don't be late. Matthew makes terrible pancakes, but the company's good." "How did you—" "I'm their grandmother. I know everything." She paused. "Matthew's a good man. A broken one right now, but a good one. He deserves someone who sees that." "I do," Kayla said quietly. "Then we'll see you Saturday." Kayla drove home in silence. Her apartment felt emptier than usual. She made tea, sat on the couch, pulled the fortune cookie paper from her pocket. "Love is closer than you think," she smiled. 3 miles away, Matthew Caldwell walked through his front door to find his mother sitting at the kitchen table, arms still crossed, 2 very guilty 6-year-olds beside her. "Dad's here," Daisy announced unnecessarily. "I can see that," Margaret said. Matthew looked at his daughters. They looked back. Nobody spoke. Then Hazel said, "Are you still mad?" Matthew sat down at the table. "I don't know what I am." "We're sorry," Daisy said. "Are you, though?" They looked at each other. "Kind of." Matthew laughed. Put his head down on the table. "You two are going to be the death of me." "But you like Miss Kayla," Hazel said. "Right." Matthew lifted his head. "That's not the point." "That's exactly the point," Margaret said. "Matthew, these girls did something dangerous and foolish and completely out of line. But they did it because they love you. I know that." "Do you?" Margaret's voice was gentle now. "Because you've been dying for 2 years, sweetheart. Slowly. Quietly. And your daughters see it. They live with it every day." Matthew's eyes filled. "I'm trying, Mom." "I know you are. But maybe it's time to try something different." She stood, kissed his forehead. "I'm going home. You 3 need to talk. And Matthew." "Yeah. She's lovely. Don't mess this up." After Margaret left, Matthew sat with his daughters. "Am I really that sad?" he asked quietly. "Sometimes," Daisy said. "But we understand. We're sad too." "But we want to be happy again," Hazel added. "And we want you to be happy again too." Matthew pulled them both into his lap. They were getting too big for this, but not yet. Not quite yet. "I miss her every day," he said. "Every single day. And I'm scared that if I stop being sad, it means I've stopped loving her." "That's not how it works, Daddy," Daisy said. "You can love Mommy and still smile." "You think—" "We know," Hazel said. "Because we do it. We love Mommy. But we also love ice cream and biscuit and our treehouse. And you." Matthew's tears fell onto their hair. "When did you two get so smart?" "We were born this way," Daisy said matter-of-factly. He laughed through the tears, held them tight, and thought about a woman who brought Chinese food to a construction site because two little girls asked her to, who said she liked him in disaster mode, who was coming for pancakes on Saturday. "Okay," he whispered. "Okay, I'll try." "That's all we want," Hazel said. And upstairs in their bedroom, in a frame on the nightstand, Emma Caldwell smiled in a photograph, her arms around two tiny newborns. And maybe, just maybe, she smiled a little wider, knowing her family was finally slowly learning to breathe again. Saturday morning came too fast and too slow at the same time. Matthew woke up at 6, which was ridiculous because Kayla wasn't coming until 10. But his brain didn't care about logic. His brain was busy panicking. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the house wake up around him. Biscuit's toenails clicking on the hardwood downstairs. The furnace kicking on. Somewhere down the hall, one of the twins was already awake, whispering to the other. "Today's the day." Hazel's voice drifted through the wall. "I know," Daisy whispered back. "Do you think she'll come?" "She said she would." "People say things." Matthew's chest tightened. When had his 6-year-old become cynical? He got up, showered, stared at his closet like it held the answers to the universe. What did you wear to make pancakes for a woman you met 3 days ago at a construction site while your daughters ate Chinese food on blueprints? He settled on jeans and a gray Henley. Casual, normal, not trying too hard. Downstairs, Daisy and Hazel were already at the kitchen table, still in their pajamas, drawing on construction paper. "Morning, Dad," Daisy said without looking up. "Morning. What are you making?" "Welcome cards for Miss Kayla." Matthew's heart did something complicated. "You didn't have to do that." "We wanted to," Hazel said. She held up her card. It had a drawing of a stick figure with yellow hair and a stethoscope. "That's her, with her doctor thing." "It's beautiful, baby." "Daisy's is better." "Mine is not better, it's just different." Matthew poured coffee. His hands were shaking slightly. He hoped the girls didn't notice. They noticed. "Daddy, are you nervous?" Daisy asked. "No." "You're using your nervous voice." "I don't have a nervous voice." "You do," Hazel confirmed. "It's higher, like this." She demonstrated, pitching her voice up. "I'm fine. Everything's fine." Matthew laughed despite himself. "Okay, maybe I'm a little nervous." "Why?" Daisy asked. "You already met her." "That was different. That was chaos. This is—" He paused. "This is inviting someone into our home, our life. That's big." "Do you like her?" Hazel asked. Matthew thought about that. About Kayla's smile when his daughters ambushed her. About the way she didn't run. About how she said she liked him in disaster mode. "I think I do," he said quietly. "Then it'll be fine," Daisy said, going back to her card. Matthew wished he had their confidence. By 9:30 the house was as clean as it was going to get. Matthew had vacuumed, done dishes, hidden the pile of unfolded laundry in his bedroom. The girls had changed into matching dresses, purple with white flowers, and insisted on wearing their red jackets over them. "It's our signature look," Daisy explained. "You're 6. You don't have a signature look." "We do now." At 9:45, Matthew started making pancake batter. His mother's recipe. Flour, eggs, milk, a pinch of cinnamon. His hands moved automatically. He'd made this batter 1,000 times. With Emma. After Emma. Emma used to stand next to him at the stove, hip to hip, flipping pancakes while he made bacon. She'd steal bites of batter when she thought he wasn't looking. She'd laugh when he tried to make shapes and they came out looking like blobs. "You're an architect," she'd say. "How are you this bad at pancakes? Architecture is different. Pancakes don't follow building codes." The memory hurt, but it was a good hurt, the kind that meant he'd loved someone enough to miss them this much. "Daddy, you're staring at the bowl," Hazel said. Matthew blinked. "Sorry, just thinking. About Mommy." He looked at her. "How did you know? You get a faraway face when you think about Mommy." "Do I?" "It's okay, Daddy," Daisy said. She came over, hugged his waist. "You're allowed to think about Mommy and still have Miss Kayla come over." "You're sure about that?" "Mommy would want you to be happy," Hazel said. "She told us." Matthew froze. "What?" "Before she died, when she was really sick. She made us promise to take care of you. She said you'd be sad for a while, but we should help you be happy again." Matthew's vision blurred. He set down the whisk, knelt down between his daughters. "She said that?" They nodded. "We didn't tell you before because you weren't ready," Daisy said. "But you're ready now." Matthew pulled them close, held on. "I love you two so much. We know, Daddy. Even when you commit federal offenses." "Especially then," Hazel said. The doorbell rang at exactly 10 o'clock. Matthew's heart stopped, started again, stopped. "She's here!" Daisy shrieked. "I'll get it." Hazel raced toward the door. "Wait, let me—" Matthew started, but they were already gone. He heard the door open, heard Kayla's voice. "Hi, I brought muffins. I wasn't sure if that was okay, but I can't show up empty-handed." "Muffins are perfect," Hazel said. "Come in, come in." Daisy was practically vibrating with excitement. Matthew wiped his hands on a dish towel, took a breath, walked to the entryway. Kayla stood just inside the door holding a bakery box, wearing jeans and a cream-colored sweater. Her hair was down. She looked nervous, beautiful, real. "Hi," Matthew said. "Hi," Kayla said back. They stood there, neither moving. "You're both being weird," Daisy observed. "Give them a second," Hazel whispered loudly. "This is a moment." "What kind of moment?" "I don't know, a grown-up one." Kayla laughed. The tension broke. "I brought blueberry muffins. I hope that's okay." "It's perfect," Matthew said. "Come in, please. Sorry, I should have said that first." "You're doing fine," Kayla said, and something about the way she said it, gentle and warm, made Matthew's chest unclench slightly. She followed them to the kitchen. Biscuit immediately came over, tail wagging, and Kayla crouched down to greet him. "Hey, buddy," she said, scratching behind his ears. "You must be Biscuit." "He's old, but he's the best," Hazel said. "I can tell." Kayla looked up at Matthew. 11 right. 11 and a half. We're counting every month now." "That's good. Every month counts." Something about the way she said it. Like she understood. Like she'd said goodbye to old dogs before and knew how much each extra day mattered. Matthew turned back to the stove. "Pancakes are almost ready. How do you like them?" "However they come out is fine with me. Even if they're shaped like blobs. Especially if they're shaped like blobs." The girls set the table. 4 plates, 4 forks, 4 glasses of orange juice. Matthew poured the batter onto the griddle, tried to make butterflies, made something that looked more like amoebas. "Perfect," Kayla said from behind him. He turned. She was standing close, watching him cook. "They're terrible," he said. "They're made with love. That's different." "Is that your professional veterinarian opinion?" "That's my professional human opinion." They ate at the kitchen table. The morning light came through the windows, golden and soft. Daisy told Kayla about her favorite books. Hazel told her about their treehouse. Matthew mostly listened, watching this woman interact with his daughters like she'd known them for years instead of days. "Miss Kayla," Hazel said, mouthful of pancake. "Can you do braids?" "Hazel, swallow first," Matthew said automatically. Hazel swallowed. "Can you?" "I can," Kayla said. "Why?" "Daddy tries, but they're always lumpy." "They're not lumpy," Matthew protested. They're rustic. They're lumpy, Dad, Daisy said gently. Kayla smiled. I could braid your hair if you want, after breakfast. Really? Really? See, Daddy, Hazel said. Miss Kayla can teach you. I'm being replaced by someone who knows how to braid hair, Matthew said. This is my nightmare. Don't be dramatic, Daisy said. After breakfast, they moved to the living room. Hazel sat on the floor between Kayla's knees. Kayla's fingers worked through Hazel's hair, sectioning braiding, moving with the kind of confidence that comes from practice. You're really good at this, Matthew said. He was sitting on the couch watching. I have a niece, Kayla said. She's 8. I've braided her hair approximately 8,000 times. Does she live nearby? California? My brother's out there. I don't see them as much as I'd like. Her voice got quieter. After my dad died, we all kind of scattered. Grief does that sometimes. Matthew understood that. After Emma died, he'd pulled away from everyone, even his own family. It was easier to be alone than to see the pity in everyone's eyes. Do you miss them? Daisy asked. Every day, Kayla said. But we video chat. It's not the same, but it helps. We could video chat if you move away, Hazel said. I'm not moving away. But what if you do? Then we'll video chat, Kayla said. Deal. Deal. Matthew watched Kayla tie off the braid with a purple hair tie from her wrist. Perfect. Neat. Not lumpy at all. There, Kayla said. All done. Hazel ran to the mirror, gasped. It's so pretty. Can you do mine? Daisy asked. Of course. Daisy took Hazel's place. Kayla started braiding, and Matthew watched this woman in his living room braiding his daughter's hair and thought about how Emma used to do this exact thing. Same spot, same gentle hands, same love. It should have hurt. It did hurt. But it also felt right. Daddy, Hazel said. She'd climbed onto the couch next to him. You okay? Yeah, baby, I'm okay. You have the faraway face again. Do I? He pulled her close. I was just thinking. Good thinking or sad thinking? Both. Hazel nodded like that made perfect sense. That's allowed. After Daisy's hair was done, the girls showed Kayla their welcome cards. Kayla's eyes got wet when she read them. These are beautiful, she said. Thank you. You can keep them forever, Hazel said. I will. Want to see our treehouse? Daisy asked suddenly. Matthew's heart stopped. The treehouse. Emma's treehouse. He'd built it the summer before she got sick. She'd drawn the plans herself. Simple, sturdy, with a small window that looked out over the backyard. They'd painted it yellow together, Emma's favorite color. After she died, the girls made it their special place. They'd bring her photo out there, talk to her, tell her about their day. Matthew had only been inside once since Emma died. Couldn't handle it. The treehouse, Matthew said carefully. Yeah. Hazel was already putting on her shoes. It's really cool. Daddy built it. We play there all the time, Daisy added. It's our favorite place. Kayla looked at Matthew. She must have seen something in his face because she said, only if that's okay. Matthew wanted to say no, wanted to keep that space sacred, just for Emma, just for the girls, just for memories. But Daisy was looking at him with those eyes that saw everything. Please, Daddy, she said softly. We want to show her. And Matthew realized this wasn't just about a treehouse. This was about letting someone in, all the way in. Okay, he said. Yeah, let's show her the treehouse. They went outside. The October air was crisp. The leaves were turning red and gold. The treehouse sat in the big oak tree in the corner of the yard, just like Emma had planned it. Daddy built this, Kayla asked, looking up. He did, Daisy said proudly. With Mommy, she drew the plans. She was an artist, Hazel added. She drew everything. They climbed up. The ladder was sturdy. Matthew had made sure of that. Inside the treehouse was small but cozy. Pillows on the floor, a few stuffed animals, and on the wall, a photo of Emma smiling holding both girls when they were babies. Kayla saw it. Stopped. "That's Mommy," Hazel said. "She's beautiful," Kayla said softly. "She was the best," Daisy said. "She made really good cookies, and she sang songs, and she gave the best hugs. She sounds amazing." She was. Hazel touched the photo gently. "We miss her a lot." "I'm sure you do. But Daddy says it's okay to be sad and happy at the same time," Daisy said. "He says Mommy would want us to be happy." Kayla's eyes were wet now. She looked at Matthew, who was standing in the doorway. "He's right," she said. She would. They sat in the treehouse for a while. The girls told Kayla stories about their mother. Funny ones, sad ones, true ones. And Kayla listened the way people rarely do with her whole heart, like these stories mattered. Because they did. After a while, the girls went back down to play with Biscuit in the yard. Matthew and Kayla stayed in the treehouse. "I'm sorry," Matthew said. "This is probably weird. Meeting my dead wife, basically." "It's not weird," Kayla said. "She's part of your life, part of their lives. That doesn't stop just because I'm here. Most people wouldn't understand that. I'm not most people." They sat side by side, knees touching, watching the girls through the small window. "I built this for her," Matthew said. "The summer before she got sick. She wanted the girls to have a place that was theirs, safe, special. She picked the yellow paint, said yellow was happy. It is happy. After she died, I couldn't come up here for months. The girls did. They'd bring her photo, talk to her. But I couldn't." He paused. "This is the second time I've been inside since her funeral." "Why now?" Matthew looked at her. "Because the girls wanted to show you, and because I think I'm ready." "Ready for what?" "To let someone new in. Into this space. Into our lives. Into—" He stopped. "I'm terrified, Kayla." "Of what? Of forgetting her, of betraying her, of the girls thinking I've replaced her." "You can't replace her," Kayla said. "That's not how this works. Love doesn't work like that. There's not a finite amount. You don't run out." "How do you know?" "Because I loved my dad. And when he died, I thought that was it. I'd used up all my love on him. But then I loved again. Different loves. Friends, patience, my niece. And none of it took away from how much I loved my dad. It just expanded." She reached over, took his hand. "Emma will always be their mother. Nothing changes that. But that doesn't mean there's no room for anything else." Matthew's throat was tight. "What if I mess this up?" "You will. I will. We both will. That's part of being human." "That's not comforting. It's honest." He laughed, squeezed her hand. "My daughters orchestrated this entire thing, you know. This wasn't fate or destiny or whatever. This was 2 6-year-olds committing crimes. Best crimes I've ever been part of. They really like you." "I really like them." "And me?" Matthew asked. He was looking at her now, really looking. "Do you like me?" Kayla smiled. "I like you, Matthew Caldwell. Lumpy braids and all." "They're not lumpy. They're so lumpy. I'm being attacked in my own treehouse." "You're being told the truth in your own treehouse." They sat there, hands linked, watching Daisy and Hazel play below. And Matthew thought about Emma, about how she'd loved this, how she'd probably orchestrated it from wherever she was, how she'd look at him and say, "Took you long enough." "She'd like you," Matthew said quietly. "Emma. Yeah, she'd like that you don't take my shit, that you showed up even after my kids kidnapped you, that you're sitting in her treehouse holding my hand." He paused. "She'd probably like you more than she liked me." "I doubt that." "You didn't know Emma. She had excellent taste." Kayla smiled. So do you. They climbed down eventually, had more coffee, played a board game with the girls. Kayla won, which delighted everyone except Matthew, who insisted the dice were rigged. "You're just a sore loser, Dad," Daisy said. "I'm not a sore loser. I'm a competitive winner who didn't win." "That's the definition of a sore loser," Hazel said. At noon, Kayla said she had to go. She had a shift at the clinic at 3 and needed to get ready. "Do you have to?" Hazel asked. "I do, but I'll come back, if that's okay." "It's okay," both girls said at once. Matthew walked her to the door. The girls gave Kayla hugs goodbye, long ones the kind kids give when they mean it. "Thank you for the pancakes," Kayla said to Matthew, even though they were blob-shaped. "Thank you for fixing my daughter's hair, even though it made mine look terrible." "Yours isn't terrible, it's rustic." "You're being kind." "I'm being honest." They stood in the doorway. The girls had gone back inside, supposedly to give them privacy, but Matthew could see them watching through the living room window. "This was nice," Matthew said. "Really nice." It was. "Can we do it again?" "I'd like that." "Next time I'll take you to an actual restaurant, where adults go." "I liked this better," Kayla said. "This felt real." Matthew's chest did that complicated thing again. "Yeah, it did." Kayla started to leave, stopped, turned back. "Matthew." "Yeah. I know this is scary, and I know you're not sure about any of this, but I want you to know something." She stepped closer. "I'm not here to replace anyone. I'm not here to make you forget. I'm just here, and I'd like to keep being here, if you'll let me." Matthew couldn't speak for a moment. Then, "I'd like that too." She smiled, touched his arm, walked to her car. Matthew watched her drive away. Then he turned around to find both girls pressed against the window, grinning. "She's perfect, Daddy," Daisy said when he came back inside. "She's pretty great," Matthew admitted. "Are you going to marry her?" Hazel asked. "Whoa, slow down. We just had pancakes." "But someday, maybe someday." "That's good enough," Daisy said. That night, after the girls were in bed, Matthew stood in his bedroom looking at the photo on his nightstand, Emma smiling, holding the girls minutes after they were born. "I met someone," he said to the photo. "Her name's Kayla. She's a vet. She's kind. She braids hair better than me, which isn't hard, and the girls love her." He paused. "I think I might love her too. Eventually, if that's okay." The photo didn't answer, but somewhere in his chest, in the place where grief lived, something shifted. Not gone. Never gone. But making room. Room for something new. Room for Saturday pancakes and lumpy braids and a woman who brought muffins and didn't run when his life was chaos. Room to breathe again. "Thank you," Matthew whispered. "For the girls. For this life. For letting me try again." And maybe it was his imagination, but he swore Emma's smile in that photo looked a little wider than before. 3 weeks later, Kayla had her own coffee mug at Matthew's house. Light blue with a cartoon dog on it. Hazel picked it out. Matthew noticed it one Tuesday morning when he was making coffee. Her mug was sitting next to his in the cabinet like it belonged there. Like it had always been there. It made his chest tight in a good way. "Miss Kayla's coming for dinner tonight, right?" Daisy asked from the table. She was eating cereal, still in her pajamas. "She has to work late," Matthew said. "Maybe tomorrow." "We never see her anymore." "You saw her 3 days ago." "That's forever, Daddy." Matthew smiled, poured his coffee. It was true, though. Kayla had been working a lot. Emergency vet hours were brutal. Nights, weekends, holidays. She'd warned him about that early on. "My schedule is insane," she'd said during their second real date. Actual dinner at an actual restaurant while his mother watched the girls. "Some weeks I barely sleep. It's not fair to people I date." "Good thing I'm not people," Matthew had said. "I'm a single dad with twin 6-year-olds who commit federal offenses. My bar for normal is pretty low." She'd laughed. taken his hand across the table. And that was that. Now, 3 weeks in, they were figuring out how to make it work. Coffee in the mornings when she got off her shift. Lunch when their schedules aligned. Phone calls at weird hours. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. And real was good. Matthew's phone buzzed. A text from Kayla. Bad night. Lost a patient. Can I come by after work? Need to see friendly faces. His heart squeezed. He texted back. Always. We'll be here. At 7:30 that morning, after he'd dropped the girls at school, Kayla's Honda pulled into his driveway. She got out looking exhausted, scrubs wrinkled, hair in a messy bun, eyes red. Matthew opened the door before she could knock. Hey, he said. Hey. Her voice cracked. Is it okay that I'm here? Come here. She walked into his arms and broke. Just completely broke, sobbing into his chest while he held her in the doorway. I tried everything, she said between gasps. Everything. But he was too far gone. Chocolate poisoning. By the time they brought him in, she couldn't finish. I'm sorry, Matthew said. He led her inside, still holding her. They sat on the couch. She curled into him like she was trying to disappear. I know it's part of the job, she said. I know I can't save everyone. But he was only 3 years old, and his owner was crying, and I had to tell her there was nothing more we could do, and her whole body shook. Matthew held her tighter. Didn't say anything. Sometimes there wasn't anything to say. They sat like that for 20 minutes, maybe longer. Kayla cried. Matthew held her. Biscuit came over, put his head on her knee. Dogs always knew. Eventually her breathing steadied. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. I'm a mess. You're human. I got tears and probably snot all over your shirt. I have 2 6-year-olds. I've survived worse. She laughed, watery but real. Can I stay for a bit? I don't want to be alone. Stay as long as you want. She fell asleep on his couch 20 minutes later, still in her scrubs, head on his lap. Matthew grabbed a blanket from the closet, covered her, and worked on his laptop while she slept. She woke up 3 hours later, disoriented. What time is it? Almost 11. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. You had work. I work from home on Tuesdays, it's fine. She sat up, rubbing her face. I fell asleep on your couch. You needed it. This is so embarrassing. Kayla. He turned to face her. Stop. You had a terrible night. You came here because you needed someone. That's allowed. Her eyes filled again. I'm not usually this fragile. You're not fragile. You're grieving. There's a difference. You would know. Yeah, I would. She reached for his hand. Thank you. For this. For letting me be a disaster. Remember what you told me? You like me in disaster mode. I did say that. Well, same goes. I like you in disaster mode too. She smiled. Even when I get snot on your shirt. Especially then. By December, Kayla had a toothbrush in Matthew's bathroom. Hazel put it next to hers, purple next to green. So she can brush her teeth when she stays over, Hazel explained matter-of-factly. She doesn't stay over, Matthew said. But she will eventually write. That's complicated. Why? Because you're 6 and I'm not having this conversation. But the truth was, Matthew had thought about it. Kayla sleeping in his bed. Waking up next to her. Making coffee together in the morning. Being a family. The idea terrified him, not because he didn't want it, but because he did. So much it scared him. 2 weeks before Christmas, they had their first real fight. It started small. Kayla was supposed to come for dinner. She'd promised the girls, but an emergency came in at the clinic and she had to cancel last minute. I'm so sorry, she said on the phone. Matthew could hear the chaos in the background. German Shepherd hit by a car. I can't leave. I know. It's fine. Go. Tell the girls I'm sorry. I will. He hung up, turned to Daisy and Hazel, who were already dressed in their fancy dresses ready for dinner. Miss Kayla can't make it, he said. Work emergency. Their faces fell. But she promised, Hazel said. I know, baby, but when you're a doctor, sometimes you don't get to choose. She's always working, Daisy said. Her voice was sharp. She cancels a lot. That's not fair. It's true, Daddy. She canceled last week too, and the week before. Matthew's jaw tightened because she was right. Kayla had been canceling more lately, always for good reasons, always apologetic, but still. She's doing important work, Matthew said, saving animals. But what about us? Hazel asked. Her eyes were wet. Don't we matter? Of course you matter. Then why does she keep leaving? And that hit Matthew somewhere deep, because it wasn't just about Kayla. It was about their mother, who left, who didn't choose to leave but left anyway. Come here, he said. They climbed onto the couch with him. Miss Kayla isn't leaving. She's working. That's different. But it feels the same, Daisy whispered. Matthew's heart broke a little. I know it does. I'm sorry. Later that night, after the girls were in bed, Matthew called Kayla back. Hey, she said. She sounded exhausted. Is everything okay? The girls were upset tonight. Silence. Then, I know. I'm sorry. I'm not saying this to make you feel bad, but they're starting to notice. The cancellations, the missed dinners. Matthew, I can't help when emergencies come in. I know that, I do, but from their perspective, what I'm abandoning them. Her voice went sharp. That's not fair. I didn't say that. You implied it. Kayla, I'm doing my best, Matthew. I'm trying to balance my job in this relationship and being part of your life without overstepping, and apparently I'm failing at all of it. You're not failing? Then what are you saying? Matthew ran his hand through his hair. I'm saying it's hard. This is hard, and I don't know how to make it work. The silence on the other end was heavy. Are you breaking up with me? Kayla asked. Her voice was small now. No, God no. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. How to protect my kids, and also have a relationship and not mess up both. I don't know either, Kayla said. She was crying. He could hear it. I don't know how to be enough for everyone. You are enough. I'm not. I keep disappointing people. Your girls. You. Kayla, listen to me. You're not disappointing us. We're just figuring this out. And it's messy. But that's okay. Is it? Yeah, it is. They talked for another hour, worked through it, made promises, to communicate better, to be honest, to remember that nobody was perfect and that was okay. I love those girls, Kayla said before they hung up. I need you to know that. I do know that. And I'm trying. I really am. I know you are. The next day, Kayla showed up at the house at 6 a.m, still in her scrubs, carrying a bag from the bakery. I have to work in 2 hours, she said when Matthew opened the door. But I needed to see them. The girls were eating breakfast. Their faces lit up when they saw her. Miss Kayla. Hi, loves. She set the bakery bag on the table. I brought chocolate croissants, as an apology for missing dinner. You didn't have to, Matthew started. Yes, I did. She sat down at the table, looked at Daisy and Hazel seriously. I need to tell you both something. I'm really sorry I keep canceling. It's not because I don't want to see you. It's because my job is really hard sometimes and animals need help and I can't always plan for that. But that doesn't mean you don't matter. You matter so much, more than you know. We know you have to save animals, Hazel said quietly. But sometimes it feels like you pick them over us, Daisy added. Kayla's face crumpled. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you feel that way. She reached across the table, took their hands. How about this? One day every week, we have a set time that's just ours. No cancellations, no work. Even if I have to trade shifts or call in backup, one day that's sacred. Deal. Really? Hazel asked. Really, you pick the day. Saturdays, both girls said at once. Saturdays it is. And she kept that promise. Every Saturday, no matter what, Kayla was there. Sometimes for a few hours, sometimes all day. But she was there. They fell into a rhythm. Saturdays were their day. Kayla would come over, help make breakfast, braid hair, play games. They'd go to the park or the library or just stay home and do nothing. On Christmas Eve, Kayla brought presents. Nothing big. Books for the girls. A new tool set for Matthew because his old one was falling apart. But it was the thought that mattered. They opened presents in the living room. The tree was lit. Carols played softly. It felt like family. This is the best Christmas, Hazel said, hugging a new stuffed elephant Kayla gave her. It's not Christmas yet, Matthew pointed out, but it feels like it. Later, after the girls were in bed, Matthew and Kayla sat on the couch with hot chocolate. They love you, Matthew said. I love them. I mean really love you. Like, he paused. Like they're starting to see you as family. Kayla set down her mug. Is that okay? Yeah, I think it is. What about you? What about me? Do you see me as family? Matthew looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman who'd walked into his chaos and stayed, who braided his daughter's hair and showed up even when it was hard, who fought with him and made up with him and didn't run when things got messy. Yeah, he said, I do. She kissed him then, soft, sweet, full of promise. I love you, she whispered against his lips. Matthew's breath caught. What? I love you. I've been wanting to say it for weeks, but I was scared. But I'm tired of being scared. So there. I love you. Kayla, you don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. Stop talking, Matthew said. He cupped her face. I love you too. Her eyes went wide. Really? Really? I think I've loved you since you brought Chinese food to a construction site because my criminal daughters asked you to. She laughed, cried, kissed him again. This is real, isn't it? She asked. Yeah, it's real. By March, Kayla had a drawer in Matthew's dresser. Just one. But it was hers. T-shirts, a pair of jeans, extra scrubs for when she stayed late. You're basically living here, Matthew's sister Nicole said one Saturday when she came by. The girls were in the treehouse. Kayla was helping Matthew fix the back fence. I'm not living here, Kayla said, hammering a nail. You have a drawer, a toothbrush, your own coffee mug. You're here every Saturday. That doesn't mean, Kayla. Nicole smiled. It's okay. We like you. You do? My brother hasn't smiled this much in years. My nieces are happy. Even my mother likes you, and she doesn't like anyone. Your mother terrifies me. She should, but she approved of you after the pancake incident. That's huge. Matthew came back from getting more nails. What are we talking about? How Kayla basically lives here now, Nicole said. Matthew looked at Kayla. Do you? I don't know, do I? You're here more than you're at your apartment. That's because my apartment is depressing, and your house has people in it. So move in, Nicole said casually. Both Matthew and Kayla froze. What? Matthew said. Move in, officially. Why not? Because... Matthew started. Because it's too fast, Nicole said. Matthew, you're 36. She's 34. You're both adults. You love each other. The girls love her. What are you waiting for? We've only been dating for 5 months, Kayla said. So Mom and Dad got engaged after 3 months. They were married for 42 years. Nicole stood up, brushed off her jeans. I'm just saying, life's short. If you found something good, hold on to it. She headed inside. I'm getting lemonade. Want some? After she left, Matthew and Kayla stared at each other. "She's not wrong," Matthew said. "About what? Life being short." Matthew: "I'm not saying we should do anything right now. I'm just saying—" He put down the hammer, took her hands. "I'm saying I could see this. You, here, with us, permanently." Kayla's eyes filled. "You could?" "Yeah, I really could." "I'm scared," she admitted. "Of what? Of messing it up. Of not being enough. Of—" She paused. "Of them eventually resenting me. For not being their mom." "They won't." "How do you know?" "Because you're not trying to replace her. You're just being you. And that's exactly who they need." "What if I'm not ready?" "Then we wait. No pressure. I'm just saying when you're ready, whenever that is, I'm here. We're here." Kayla kissed him. Hard. "I love you." "I love you too." "Ask me again in a month." "What?" "Ask me to move in again in a month. I need time to get used to the idea. But I think—" She smiled. "I think I want to say yes." Matthew's heart nearly burst. "Yeah. Yeah." 1 month later, Kayla moved in. Not all at once. Slowly. A box here, a bag there, until one day her apartment was empty and Matthew's house was full. Full of her clothes in the closet, her books on the shelves, her shoes by the door, her life mixed with theirs. The girls helped her unpack, showed her where everything went, made space in their lives for her with the kind of generosity only children have. "This drawer is for your socks," Hazel said, showing her. "And this is for your doctor clothes," Daisy added, pointing to a section in the closet. "You two thought of everything," Kayla said. "We've been planning this for weeks," Hazel admitted. "We wanted you to feel at home," Daisy said. Kayla's eyes got wet. "I already do." That night, after the girls were asleep, Matthew and Kayla stood in their bedroom. Their bedroom. Not his. Theirs. "This is insane," Kayla said. "I'm living with you. Officially. Having regrets. None. You. Not even one." She kissed him. "Thank you." "For what?" "For letting me in. For taking a chance on this. On us. Thank you for being crazy enough to say yes." They got into bed. Kayla curled into him. And for the first time in 2 years, Matthew fell asleep with someone in his arms and didn't feel guilty about it. A week later, Matthew was in the treehouse alone. Just him and Emma's photo on the wall. She moved in. He told the photo, "Kayla. She's officially part of our lives now." He paused. "The girls are so happy. They love her. I love her." His voice cracked. "I hope that's okay. I hope you're not, I don't know, mad, hurt. I hope wherever you are, you understand." The photo didn't answer, but the sun came through the treehouse window warm and golden, and Matthew chose to believe that was Emma's way of saying it was okay. That night at dinner, Daisy said, "Miss Kayla, can we just call you Kayla now without the miss?" Kayla looked at Matthew. He nodded slightly. "Of course you can," she said. "Just checking," Daisy said. "Because you live here now, so miss seems weird." "Makes sense to me." "Can we call you Kayla, Mom?" Hazel asked suddenly. Everyone froze. "Sorry," Hazel said quickly. "That was weird. I shouldn't have—" "It's okay," Kayla said gently. "But I think just Kayla is good. Your mom is your mom. Nobody can replace her. I'm just Kayla, and I'm so lucky to be part of your family." Hazel nodded, smiled. "Okay, just Kayla." "Just Kayla," Daisy agreed. After dinner, after the girls went upstairs, Matthew pulled Kayla close. "You handled that perfectly," he said. "I didn't want to overstep." "You didn't. You were perfect. They're amazing kids, Matthew." "They are. And they're lucky to have you." "I'm lucky to have them. All of you." And she meant it. This chaotic, beautiful, broken, healing family. She meant every word. 6 months passed like breathing. Easy, natural. Like Kayla had always been there. She learned which twin was which in the dark just by their breathing. Hazel breathed slower. Daisy talked in her sleep. She learned Matthew took his coffee black but liked tea with honey when he was stressed. She learned Biscuit's arthritis was worse in the mornings, so she'd carry him down the stairs before anyone else woke up. She learned what home felt like. It was Tuesday afternoon in late September when Matthew called her at work. "Hey," he said. His voice was doing that thing, that nervous thing. "What's wrong?" Kayla asked immediately. "Nothing's wrong. Can you meet me somewhere tonight, after your shift?" "Matthew, it's almost 8. I don't get off until 11. "I know. I'll wait." "Where?" He paused. "The Greenhouse Café, downtown." Kayla's breath caught. The cafe. Their cafe. The place where she'd sat alone thinking she'd been stood up before 2 little girls in red jackets changed everything. "Why there?" she asked. "Just trust me. Please." "Okay. I'll be there." She hung up, stared at her phone. Her coworker Linda was watching her. "What was that about?" Linda asked. "I have no idea." "You look terrified." "I am terrified." "Good terrified or bad terrified?" Kayla thought about it. "I don't know yet." Her shift dragged. Every minute felt like an hour. At 10:30 she changed out of her scrubs, put on jeans and the sweater Matthew liked, the blue one. Drove downtown with her heart hammering. The cafe was mostly empty, just a few late-night regulars, and Matthew sitting at the corner table, the same table where she'd waited alone almost a year ago. He stood when she walked in. He was wearing the blue shirt, the important days shirt. "Hi," he said. "Hi." Kayla sat down. "You're freaking me out a little." "Sorry, that wasn't the plan." "What is the plan?" Matthew sat back down. His hands were shaking. "Do you remember the first time we were supposed to meet here?" "You mean when you stood me up?" "I didn't stand you up. I had a gas leak." "Semantics." He smiled. "You sat right here, at this table, for 30 minutes. Your tea went cold. You've been talking to the waitress, haven't you?" "I have. Her name's Martha. She remembers you. She said you looked sad, but you tipped anyway." "I always tip." "I know. It's one of the 1,000 things I love about you." He reached across the table, took her hands. "You sat here thinking you'd been stood up, and you were about to leave. But then 2 crazy little girls walked in, and everything changed." Kayla's eyes were already burning. "Matthew, what are you doing?" "I'm trying to tell you something important, and I'm really bad at it, so bear with me." He took a breath. "A year ago I was drowning. I was so deep in grief I couldn't see a way out. I was going through the motions for my daughters, but I wasn't really living. I was just surviving. And then my mother set me up on a blind date, and I said yes because she was relentless, and I figured 1 coffee couldn't hurt. But then work happened, and I canceled, and I thought that was it, another failed attempt at moving forward. But it wasn't," Kayla said softly. "But it wasn't. Because my daughters, those brave, insane, beautiful little girls, decided they weren't going to let me give up. So they got on a bus, found you, and brought you into our lives." His voice cracked. "You could have run. You should have run. But you didn't. You brought us Chinese food. You braided their hair. You let them into your heart, even though you barely knew us." Tears were running down Kayla's face now. "They made it easy. They love you. I love you. We all love you so much." Matthew stood up, came around to her side of the table, and got down on one knee. Kayla's hand went to her mouth. "Oh my God." "Kayla Emerson," Matthew said. His voice was shaking but steady. "You walked into our lives when we needed you most. You gave me permission to love again, to live again. You showed my daughters that family doesn't have to look one way. That love can grow in the cracks grief leaves behind. He pulled out a small velvet box, opened it. Will you marry me? The ring was simple, a single diamond, elegant, perfect. Kayla couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, could only nod. Is that a yes? Matthew asked. Yes, she managed. Yes, yes, yes. He slid the ring on her finger, stood up, pulled her into his arms. She was crying into his shoulder the same way she had that first night when she'd lost a patient and needed him. I love you, she said. I love you so much. I love you too. Behind them, someone started clapping. Martha, the waitress. Then the other customers joined in. The whole cafe erupted in applause. Matthew and Kayla pulled apart, laughing and crying. This is embarrassing, Kayla said. This is perfect, Matthew corrected. They sat back down. Kayla couldn't stop looking at the ring. How did you? I bought it 3 months ago, Matthew admitted. I've been carrying it around like an idiot waiting for the right moment. 3 months. I knew. I've known for a while. Do the girls know? They helped me pick it out. Kayla laughed. Of course they did. They're waiting at home right now, probably destroying the house with excitement. We should go tell them. We should. But neither of them moved. They just sat there, hands linked across the table where this whole story started. Can I tell you something? Kayla said. Anything. That night, when I was sitting here alone, I almost didn't stay. I was about to leave. I had my keys in my hand. But something made me wait just a few more minutes. And then Daisy and Hazel walked in, and my whole life changed. Mine too. I don't believe in fate, Kayla said. But I believe in this, in us, in those 2 crazy girls who refused to give up on their dad. They're going to be impossible after this, Matthew said. They're going to take full credit. They should. They earned it. They drove home together. Kayla's car would stay downtown until tomorrow. She didn't care. She just wanted to be with him. When they walked through the door, Daisy and Hazel were supposed to be in bed. They weren't. They were sitting on the stairs in their pajamas, wide-awake, Margaret with them. Well, Daisy demanded. Kayla held up her hand, showing the ring. The girls screamed. Actually, screamed. Ran down the stairs and tackled Kayla in a hug that nearly knocked her over. You said yes, Hazel shrieked. Of course I said yes. We knew you would, Daisy said, but we were still nervous. You two helped pick this out, Kayla asked, showing them the ring up close. We did, Hazel said proudly. Daddy showed us 3 and we all agreed on this one. It's perfect. Margaret was crying, happy tears. She hugged Matthew, then Kayla. Welcome to the family, sweetheart. Officially. Thank you for sharing them with me, Kayla said. Thank you for loving my son. For loving all of them. That night, after everyone had finally gone to bed, after the girls had been convinced to go to sleep, after Margaret had left, Matthew and Kayla lay in bed in the dark. We're getting married, Kayla said. We are. Whenever you want. I don't want a big wedding. Good, me neither. Something small, just family. Perfect. Maybe in the backyard, Kayla said. Under the treehouse. Matthew turned to face her. You'd want to get married under the treehouse. It's where we really became a family, in that treehouse. When the girls brought me up there and showed me Emma's photo. That's when I knew I wanted this. All of it. Matthew kissed her. Then that's where we'll do it. They planned the wedding for the following spring. Small. Intimate. Just family and close friends. Maybe 30 people total. The girls insisted on being part of everything. They helped pick flowers, helped design invitations, helped Kayla find her dress. Nothing too fancy, Kayla said in the bridal shop. I want to be able to move, to hug people, to play with the girls. They found the perfect one. Simple white dress, lace sleeves, comfortable. "You look like a princess," Hazel said. "A doctor princess," Daisy added. "The best kind." As the wedding date got closer, Kayla noticed Matthew getting quieter, more thoughtful. She found him in the treehouse one Saturday afternoon. "Hey," she said, climbing up. "You okay?" "Yeah, just thinking. About Emma." "How'd you know?" "Because you always come up here when you're thinking about her." Kayla sat next to him. "Talk to me." Matthew looked at Emma's photo on the wall. "I'm getting married. Again. And I'm happy about it. I love you. I want this. But part of me feels guilty." Kayla finished. "Yeah. That's normal." "Is it?" "Matthew, you're allowed to love again. It doesn't mean you loved her less. It just means you have more love to give. That's not betrayal. That's survival. That's honoring everything she gave you by choosing to keep living." "She would have liked you," Matthew said quietly. "Emma. She would have liked how direct you are, how you don't take my shit, how you love the girls. I wish I could have known her." "Me too." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Matthew said, "I want to do something at the wedding, for Emma, to honor her, to show the girls that we're not forgetting her." "What do you want to do?" "I don't know yet." Kayla thought about it. "What if we save a seat for her at the ceremony, with her photo, and a white rose?" Matthew's eyes filled. "You'd do that?" "Of course I would. She's part of this family, part of this story. She should be there." "I love you," Matthew said. "I love you too." The wedding was on a Saturday in May. The backyard was transformed. White chairs set up in rows, flowers everywhere. The treehouse decorated with ribbons and lights, and in the front row, an empty chair, with Emma's wedding photo and a single white rose. The girls wore matching purple dresses. They insisted on their red jackets over them. "It's our signature look," Daisy reminded everyone. "You wore those jackets the night you found me," Kayla said. "It's perfect." Matthew wore a gray suit, no tie. He couldn't handle ties. Kayla wore her simple white dress. Hair down. Minimal makeup. Just herself. The ceremony was short. Matthew's best friend Tom officiated. They'd gotten him ordained online 2 weeks ago. "We're gathered here today," Tom started, "to celebrate a love story that started with 2 6-year-olds committing several federal offenses." Everyone laughed. "But seriously," Tom continued, "this is a story about second chances, about grief and healing, about 2 people who found each other in the most unexpected way and decided to build something beautiful together." Matthew and Kayla stood under the treehouse holding hands. Daisy and Hazel stood next to Kayla, matching flower bouquets in their hands. When it was time for vows, Matthew went first. "Kayla," he said. His voice was steady, but his eyes were wet. "A year and a half ago, I was barely surviving. I was so lost in grief I couldn't see a way forward. And then you walked into my life. Well, technically, you were dragged into my life by 2 very determined little girls. But you stayed. You stayed through the chaos and the mess and the complicated parts. You loved my daughters like they were yours. You made space for Emma in our life instead of trying to erase her. You showed me that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means growing." He paused. "You saved us, Kayla. All 3 of us. And I promise to spend the rest of my life making sure you know how loved you are, how valued, how essential you are to this family." Kayla was crying. Everyone was crying. "Your turn," Tom said gently. Kayla took a shaky breath. "I had a whole speech written. It was very eloquent, very organized, but I'm going to say what's in my heart instead." She looked at Matthew. "Sometimes love is 17 minutes late, carried in by 2 brave little girls who refused to let their daddy's happiness slip away. I sat in that cafe thinking I'd been stood up, thinking this was just another failed date, another disappointment. But what walked through that door was so much better than what I expected. It was a family who needed healing, and somehow in the process of helping you heal, I healed too. She turned to Daisy and Hazel. You two changed my life. You showed me what courage looks like, what love looks like. You took a stranger and made her family, and I promise to be here for you. Always. Through everything. She looked back at Matthew. I love you. I love all three of you. And I can't wait to spend the rest of my life proving it. There wasn't a dry eye in the backyard. Tom cleared his throat. By the power vested in me by the internet and the state of California, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Matthew, kiss your bride before we all start sobbing again. Matthew kissed Kayla. The guests erupted in applause. Daisy and Hazel cheered. At the reception, which was just lunch in the backyard, people told stories. Margaret talked about how relieved she was that Matthew had finally found someone. Nicole talked about the night Kayla brought Chinese food to the construction site. Tom talked about Matthew's terrible attempts at dating apps before his mother intervened. Then Daisy stood up. 7 years old now. Confident. Fierce. Can I say something? She asked. Of course, baby, Matthew said. Daisy walked to the middle of the yard. Everyone got quiet. A long time ago, she said. When I was only 6, my daddy was really sad. And me and Hazel didn't know how to help him. So we did something kind of crazy. We got on a bus and found Kayla and brought her to Daddy. And everyone thought we were in big trouble. And we were. We were grounded for like a month. Everyone laughed. But it was worth it. Because we knew Daddy needed someone. And Kayla needed us too, even if she didn't know it yet. So I guess what I'm saying is... She looked at her father. I'm glad we did the crazy thing, Daddy. Because now we're happy again. All of us. Matthew was crying openly now. He got up, scooped Daisy into his arms. Me too, baby. Me too. Hazel stood up. My turn. She walked over to Kayla. Kayla, I just want to say thank you. For loving us. For staying. For not getting scared when things got hard. You're the best not mom we could have asked for. Kayla pulled Hazel into her lap, buried her face in her hair. Thank you for letting me love you. As the sun started setting, Matthew and Kayla stood by the treehouse watching their guests mingle, watching Daisy and Hazel play with their cousins. We did it, Matthew said. We really did. You're officially stuck with us now. Best decision I ever made. Matthew looked up at the treehouse, at Emma's photo still visible through the window. Thank you, he said quietly, for saying yes, for everything. Always, Kayla said. Later, after the guests had left after the girls had finally crashed from sugar and excitement, Matthew and Kayla stood in the backyard alone. The lights were still strung up. The empty chair with Emma's photo and white rose still sat in the front row. Kayla walked over to it, picked up the photo. Thank you, she said to Emma's image, for these beautiful girls, for raising Matthew to be the man he is, for loving them so much they knew what love should look like, for everything. She set the photo back down gently. Matthew came up behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist. She'd be happy, he said. I really believe that. So do I. They stood there in the dark in the backyard of the house they now officially shared, under the treehouse where their family had truly begun, and felt peace. Not the absence of grief. Grief would always be there, a quiet companion. But peace alongside it. Room for both. Room for memories and new beginnings. Room for sadness and joy. Room for a love that was 17 minutes late, but arrived exactly when it was supposed to. Inside the house, Daisy and Hazel were supposed to be sleeping. They weren't. They were at the window, watching their father and Kayla in the backyard. We did good, Daisy whispered. We did great, Hazel corrected. Do you think Mommy's happy? Hazel looked at the photo of their mother on her nightstand. "Yeah, I think she's really happy." "Me too." They climbed into their beds. Matching purple dresses hung in the closet. Red jackets draped over their chairs, ready for the next adventure. The next impossible thing they'd convince their family to do. Because that's what the Caldwell girls did. They loved fiercely. They fought for happiness. They refused to let the people they loved give up. And sometimes when life got hard and the world felt too big, they remembered that afternoon in October, when they were only 6 years old and decided to save their father's date. When they got on a bus and found a stranger and changed everyone's life forever. That was the day everything changed. The day their family started healing. The day they learned that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is refuse to accept that the story is over. Sometimes you have to write a new chapter. Sometimes love comes in unexpected ways. And sometimes it's carried in by two little girls in red jackets who refuse to take no for an answer.